In North West tonight. Under threat, a woman faces losing her home because of debts run up by her former husband more than 20 years ago. And to the first of those stories, when Vivian Davis got divorced almost 20 years ago, her settlement let her keep her house in Liverpool until she died or remarried. But now she faces losing her home in Kirkby to pay bankruptcy debts her former husband ran up in the 1980s. Her lawyer says the court ruling is deeply unfair and could now hit thousands of others. Abby Jones reports.
This is the 1960s semi Vivian Avis has called home for more than 20 years. But through no fault of her own, she now could be forced to sell up.
She is devastated by the result. She thought when she got her divorce settlement that she would be safe and able to stay in the house until the end of her days. That was the terms of the settlement that she received on her divorce. And with these proceedings now, she's in danger of losing her home.
So how has it come to this? Mrs Avis reached a divorce settlement with her husband in 1985. In 1989, he was made bankrupt. He owed around £3,000 in unpaid tax. Mr Avis says he paid around £2,500, but in 2003 the case was reopened. Now the sum, through court administrative costs, has risen to a massive £73,000. Mr Avis can't pay that amount, and so his creditors have gone after his share of the former marital home. The only way they can get it is by selling this house. The Court of Appeal has decided that the interests of the creditors outweigh those of anybody else. It's a ruling it's predicted will now affect thousands of others.
I personally believe it is extremely unfair. I think other people in Mrs Avis's position are going to find it very hard to resist a claim from the trustee in bankruptcy. And it'll be a claim for something that originally they were not at fault for. It was to do with their husband's own bankruptcy, and it's going to have a bad effect on them all.
Mrs Avis and her lawyer now plan to go back to court to try to overturn the decision. Abby Jones, North West Tonight.
And now, with news of that